guys, for iGyaan.in, and today we're going to be reviewing the new Sony Xperia Miro. Now this phone costs about 12,700 rupees in the Indian market, but it's a fairly nice phone for that price bracket. Let's talk about the build quality and then we'll get along with all the things. So let's talk about build quality and hardware. So as you can see on the front over here of the device is a 3.5 inch 320 by 480 pixel display, which makes it a 165 pixels per inch. Not the best resolution display, but it's fairly decent. Also, the fact that it only takes up to 2-finger multi-touch is a disappointment for this device. You have 3 touch capacitive buttons at the bottom, and you have this wedge sort of thing at the bottom over here as well. If we talk about the camera on the device, we have a front-facing camera, which is again a VGA camera, basic VGA camera. On the back, you have a 5-megapixel camera, which does have autofocus. But it only takes VGA video, and that's about it. You do have an LED flash, which is good, and you have a speakerphone which is decently loud. Now we'll talk about that when we get to that respective section. In terms of build quality, the overall device is pretty solidly made. You will hear no squeaking or rattling from the device. It's fairly nice when it comes to build quality. You also have a scratch resistant anti-reflection coated, so you have a sort of a matte coating on here. It's not the best matte coating that we see. It's not a very anti-glare as well, but it's a sort of an anti-reflective coating that Sony has done for this device. Now it is running Ice Cream Sandwich out of the box. You do have a Qualcomm MSM7225A chipset, which is running an 800 MHz Cortex A5 and has an Adreno 200 GPU. Again, not the best kind of hardware that you can get in this price. But then Sony products are usually a little bit more expensive than the standard products. Now you have this really nice blue notification bar at the bottom over here, which does change colors as per what theme you are in. So if I change themes really quick from here, I can go into settings, I can go into themes, and I can change from the blue theme to, for example, the silk theme, and the light becomes a silk light. So that's great, but you don't have a lot of colors in it. It stays a shade of blue at all times. You can't change it to like a purple. It's not very prominent, but it does change color. It's not as great as it was on the U, I believe, which had a color changing bar at the bottom. So let me see if green works that great. So it does become green as well, so that's good. So you have theme changing at the bottom. You have the standard Sony style notification panel at the top. Basic things in there. If you talk about Android 4.0 on this, Ice Cream Sandwich runs pretty fluid on this device. We have been using it for quite some time, running applications. It's not the best kind of hardware that you can get for this price, but the fact that the Timescape user interface works great on this is what makes it one of the good features. You can see that basic scrolling through their gallery applications and all of that is pretty fluid, even better than we've seen on some higher graphic based or higher processor based devices. If we talk about the set of applications that come pre-installed, you have just a basic set of applications that come pre-installed, but then you have access to the full Google Play Store. You can download apps, games as per your requirement. Sony lets you customize the application drawer as per your requirement as well, so you can come here and change the way the layout is and move apps around. It's as simple as that. You can also change the layout to your personal choice, to downloaded, own order, alphabetical, or recently installed, which is downloaded again. So whatever has been recently installed will show up on the top over here. You do have a Sony proprietary app, which is the Play Music app, which again has the Sony Walkman sort of features on there. You can find by artist, by album, or by song. You can also search by playlist. So a good music player that has been included. You also have the gallery application, which is also slightly updated. They call it album. And again, you have this sort of layout, which can again be customized into image or video. As per your requirement, you can sort out images. You can also place all the images on a map, and you can also see what all images have been shared online. Similarly, for the movies application, you have a new style layout where you can choose your movie and play it back. Now, one thing that I have to completely agree with is the fact that Sony displays are one of the best displays on mobile phones these days. And this one is no less. You have great viewing angles on this device, and overall quality of color, the depth of color, the deepness of the black color is exceptionally good. The quality of the screen is also exceptionally good. You do have a sealed LCD display, so it does not allow any light to leak in or leak out. So that's absolutely brilliant when it comes to display. So in terms of the display, even though it's a low-res display, it's still pretty good to look at. The 3.5 inch with the pixel density, it's still very crisp. You can read text without any issues. The colors look great, so the display is good. The speakerphone is also great and loud. You can also attach any sort of headphones with a 3.5mm headphone jack. It works absolutely well, and no issues connecting any sort of headphones. They're not loose or anything, so the jack is good and designed in a way where all sorts of headphones will work with this. If we jump into the dialer, we talk about phone calling capabilities. Making phone calls is fairly easy with this. No issues making phone calls. You also have a great nice dialer over here. The earpiece is loud enough, the microphone picks up your audio. Networks were strong throughout our test, so we had no issues with phone calling capabilities. Despite the fact that you have a front-facing camera, you cannot make video calls with this camera, so you don't have video calling options. You can quickly jump into your call history. Call log shows up here, so you can hide the keyboard and take a look at the full call log once you do have some dialed numbers. You can go into groups or contacts as per you arrange them, standard Sony style of layout. If I jump into messaging over here and go into new message, you'll see the Sony style keyboard over here. You can do some customizations to this keyboard, like change the color, the layout, etc. You also have continuous input in the keyboard as well. So it's called gesture input is in here. What is missing is the ability to customize the keyboard, where you can just change it from a full keyboard to a phone pad, and you can't change colors like on some higher end Sony devices. So you're stuck with this gray and black keyboard unless you install some third-party keyboard from the Google Play Store. But till then, this is what you have. This is a fairly good input keyboard. You'll have no issues writing text messages or sending emails from this. Although we feel that the keyboard is a little cramped, but the keys are nice and large, so you'll have no issues with that. You can also convert it from portrait into landscape to get a wider format of keyboard, which is slightly better for texting. If we talk about internet browser on this device, you have a decent stock browser, but the fact that it is running Android ICS, you get Google Chrome compatibility with this as well. But since we are talking about this device and this device purely, we can quickly jump into the stock browser and go open up iGyaan.in. So once we talk about the internet browser, you can see it loads up iGyaan.in, the mobile website, without any issues. You have the full mobile website laid out over here. I can also switch to the full website. You can see kinetic scrolling is pretty good. If I switch to the classic website, it'll load up iGyaan fully without any issues. It's a fairly decent browser. It's pretty good at scrolling. You can see how smooth scrolling is on this device. Pinching and zooming in is also better than many devices which do come with dual core processors. So with that respect, the browser is pretty good. It also runs all sorts of Flash content, and you can download the Flash player available for Ice Cream Sandwich on this. Of course, Flash is not available on Jelly Bean, so this is the last version of the OS that will support Flash content. Now, the browser also does a quick seamless switch from portrait into landscape, stays as smooth or as easy to use. You can continue to scroll, pinch in, zoom out. So with that point of view, the Miro is exceptionally good. When it comes for internet usage, we like the stock browser, and it becomes a little bit faster once you switch to Google Chrome. Now you can also add a bunch of tabs using this option, and you can also quit tabs. It's as easy as that. Basically designed over Google Chrome, the stock browser works pretty good. You also have standard multitasking. You press down on the home button, you get all your running applications. You can easily quit applications from here by sliding through, or you can jump to applications from here as well. So gaming on this phone is pretty decent. Although high graphic games do work on the device, the experience is not so great. Basic games like Angry Birds, Temple Run will work beautifully on this without any issues. Overall screen is good, and the limiting factor that remains in gaming is the fact that it only accepts 2 fingers for multi-touch. versus 4 fingers, so that can limit some of the games. But as far as this is concerned, basic gaming like Angry Birds, which requires only 1 finger input, is fairly decent. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to run quadrant benchmark for you guys. You'll be able to see that it's fairly decent when it comes to benchmark performance on this device. But actually, before I run quadrant benchmark, I'm going to quickly go ahead into the multitasking window over here and exit all running applications. And I'm going to run a full benchmark. So as you can see, the device scores a 1752, which is just above the Nexus S, but it's in the bottom of the pack. The HTC Desire HD scores slightly above the Miro. So there you go, guys. If we talk about the concluding factor, it's a great, well-built device from Sony. The white color is easily affected by dust and grime. You can see we have a bunch of scratches that will show easily on the case. So you might want to consider that if you're going in for the white color. Overall, the build quality is good and is fairly decent. Performance-wise, if you're going to be using it for basic day-to-day usage, for making phone calls, for texting, for emailing, for basic gaming, and for a good amount of internet usage, including emails, this phone will do wonders for you. But if you're looking for something which kills it in the performance sector, if you're looking for something that does a lot of gaming and is extremely good in terms of performance, you might want to consider something else. From a varied amount of options available in the market. But if you're looking for a complete package that does everything, including the most important thing for a phone, that is to make phone calls, the Xperia Miro could be your choice. It's slightly on the expensive side, but you have to consider the fact that Sony is a slightly more expensive brand in India. If you have any questions or queries, do leave them in the comment section below. You can check out the full review on iGyaan.in. You can also catch us on Facebook, Twitter, Google+. And do subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/iGyaan, youtube.com/iGyaanTV.